This is a Frank podcast.
Warriors Life Podcast 2026, episode 2. All three of us back. The Throuple, finally. I know you've been gagging for Fonz to come back. We haven't seen him since the first week of September. We've been worried about him, but he's just been so far under the pump. We just haven't been able to get him on here. But welcome back, Fonz. It's great to see you. I'm sure it'll be great for everyone to hear from you again.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I think we had one message asking where I was over that 4 months. So thanks to Mum for that. Yeah, great to be back. Good to see both you boys. January rolling around. I don't know. We're in that weird off season when things are about to kick off.
Yeah,
first
absolutely.
day of school.
First day of school, boys, Brad.
No, just for us. It's like the first day
today,
being back at school, isn't it? We had a teachers only day the other day, so me and Will just come in and sort of rustled some papers and made sure we had all the stationery sorted and likes of that. And here we are, first day in. Bit of an orientation day just to get to know the lay of the land, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm still working my way through that flash new Substack that's going on there. That's beautiful. Talk about orientation. All of a sudden, I'm like, I'm not sure I'm good enough for this podcast is set up anymore.
Oh, stop it. No, it's
on the old website, I had fleas on me, but this one's beautiful. This is
I get it. The old website was starting to grind a few gears, but loving the feedback for the new Substack and the uptake on the subscriptions as well. If you'll just indulge me, because we're blown away by the support so far. Whole bunch of annual and monthly subscribers, which is great to see. Too many to bore you with a list of names here, but just want to thank all of you guys for jumping on board so early. In particular, our founding members, though, the This Warriors Lifers. Number 1, Jermaine Downs. Number 2, Nick Dean. Number 3, Tristan. Number 4, Mike Hobbs. Number 5, Ben Campbell. Number 6, Matt Rainan. Number 7, Hugh Lee. Number 8, Cam Finlayson. And newest one today, Hayden Ward. Welcome aboard, number 9. So, yeah, fantastic to have you guys and your generosity, and you'll be getting some fancy new can't buy off the merch store gear to get around in with a fancy new logo. What do you think of that logo that I toiled away with my crayons over, Brad?
Yeah, looks smart, man. Looks smart. Yeah, that's a sharp. That'll be quite a nice little surprise. Have you seen that? The Lifers logo we've got for the merch?
Sure have, mate. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I got a custom logo for my merch at Magic Round from Will. So it's an elite company to get that.
Yeah. No shit. I think these people just appreciate the work that you actually put in. It's not just sitting here in front of the screen, Will. You put up a lot of content and very well thought out content, and I think the people appreciate what's going on. So 100%. Thank you and the supporters. Onwards and upwards.
And that there is a lot of exclusive content up on the site, but it is a recognition of what I guess all of us, but yeah, you guys in particular, put into this podcast. And the feedback and the kind words have been very gratefully received. So thanks everyone out there. And still, you'll get this podcast, even if you're just a free subscriber. Still love having you listen to us, checking out the free content, because there is still fair bit of that as well. Brought to you this podcast, of course, by the legends at Kings Container Crew. Into our 3rd season with the Kings boys. We love them. And they're not just supporters of the podcast. They've been backing the Warriors for a long time. They still sponsor them every season. They'll be sponsoring the number 11 this year. Again, you'll hear them get read out at Mount Smart games. Signage at the game at Mount Smart, I believe, or Go Media Mount Smart Stadium. They've been backing them since the COVID days. They had a massive sign up at the stadium at Gosford. So, yeah, we love the Kings boys and what they done for the club and for us. So Thank you. Great to have another season with you guys. The best container crew outfit going around in Australia and New Zealand. Head to containercrew.com.
You posted them enjoying the sponsors day out. I guess that's what it was. What you posted, shared a post of them up there. I tell you what, I'm going to have any of the staff out there, any of those boys, that little high vis league shirt number. Wouldn't mind getting around in one of them. So anyone want to do a little swapsy with one of my match worn This Warrior's Life tees for one of their high vis league looking tees? I'm keen as shit.
Good looking bunch of lads, those teams.
Oh, you should. Yeah, we were in debt or
Bill.
here. We don't want to do too much on here. People start thinking otherwise about us. But real good looking bunch of boys.
Speaking of good looking, what's this like? The photo of you two on the Substack and on the images you sent around that. Like, come on, man! Like, I mean, where did that? Because that doesn't look like you boys, really. Like that's. That's you boys.
There might be a very thin filter over the top of that.
You recognised it was us at least. Like,
I actually didn't. I'm like, I've been away a couple of months, and he sold it. He sold it to bloody Brad Pitt and
these two hot bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. You get a photo of us on a iPhone 17. That's what you get back, not with these crummy. Web mic cams that we've got. That's you see us in the flesh.
You see us in the flesh. We take your breath away. We really do.
In HD 1080.
I have to admit, Fonz, I was pretty happy with the whiteness of my teeth and that on that little pic as well. They don't look like that now.
Chuck the photo into Chat GPT and said, make us 45% more handsome, and that's what it came out of.
45.
But Fonz, we better get into some Warriors chat since we do have you back. Now this is about 4 months coming, but everyone's been, and we won't to get you to dissect it too much. It's in the past now, but I guess a succinct recap of 2025 from the horse's mouth.
Well, let's start with round one. No, I think I think. Look, I mean, we part of the benefit of this show is you sort of give a running commentary through the year so that your thinking's moving week to week and people can hear that. And I mean, I think we told the story through the year, but if you're summarising it, so you start the year with a couple of question marks around the spine in particular, right? Is it Metcalf and CHT or is it not? I mean, I was always strong it was going to be Metcalf and CHT, but others disagreed. It was an open question. He went with that. And then, it was going to be, is that halves combination going to be good enough to get you anywhere? Because Metcalf's never played 7. CHT's had some time off. Are they a right complement? Then you got the fullback. Is Chance going to give you enough? You got Egan. Is he going to stay fit? All these things were bouncing around. And, I mean, I think what we learned in the first half of the year was that Webby's system, structure, and the buy-in he gets from his players and so on, that 2023 year was not a fluke, right? 2024 didn't quite go to plan, but every year the teams had a dig, looked systematically sound, been reasonably coherent, moving well, all that sort of basic stuff. So the first thing I reckon we answered last year was that Webby's a good coach and the basics of his system are sound. There's no doubt about that. I think that's beyond any doubt, So we're going into 2026 knowing that that's the case. The next question was then, okay, so if we know we're going to defend reasonably well, we're going to have our kick chase right, we're going to have our transition part of the game good. Can we score any points in this team? Because it's not a team that is particularly attacking, lack of speed in the outside backs, as I said, inexperienced halves, and so on. And the answer to that halfway through the year was not really, right? So Lukey Met was jagging tries here and there with an intercept or, scooting out a dummy half. Leka Halasima burst onto the scene and was scoring freak tries on the wing against the Tigers or sort of, 1 and 2 pass off, being just individual freak. But there was a real lack of attacking structure in good ball that was giving points. It was one out things from a couple of players. And so I think mid-season we were looking at it going, we're going to make the 8, right, because we can tackle and we're we got our shit together, basically, but we're not going to win the comp because we don't have the strike and attacking structure that is going to put points on the good teams when things get real. And there was probably a little bit of a question around always, is our pack, like our pack's workmanlike, but does it actually have that kind of dynamism? You know, when stuff gets real in the big games, is it going to be able to go with some of these packs that are a bit more dynamic, right? So that was sort of there. Then I think it was the Sharks game. The Sharks game. So every year there's a game that makes me go off the boil and go, this is our year, right? So the year before it was the Rabbits game, which I went out to. Remember, we towed up the Rabbits, and I'm like, that's it. It was no way in the comp, right? And then
I'm getting the tattoo.
Yeah, I'm getting the tat now. And then we lose every game after that. This year was the Sharks game. Same thing happened. So the Sharks game was the game where, you know, I think we had Mulga doing, you know, a bit more work through the middle with some soft hands. You know, actually, and not far behind that at Magic Round, remember it was Cowboys at Magic Round, wasn't it, that we watched? And that left edge was starting to look real good, you know, so that we started seeing bits come together, and it was sort of like, oh, if the, you know, because often a team will focus on defense and system for the first half a year, and then the coach will go, right, now we're going to really focus on our attack. When we built that base, we're going to focus on the attack. And so the big hope was, are we going to back end the year where the attack starts coming together, and by semis time, Lukey Met's learned how to work with his outside backs. The forwards have got a bit more dynamic sort of ball play going on that creates a threat in the middle third of the field that opens it up for Lukey and others. So there was a glimmer of hope there that maybe that's the way the season was going to go. We're going to sort of turn into a genuinely good team on both sides of the ball. And then Barney got injured. Well, actually, he got injured before the Sharks game, I think. I think he was the first man down. But then week before, right? And then Lukey Met got injured. And from that point, well, you know, the hope that we were going to grow into our attacking shape and structure in the back end of the year without Lukey Met was pretty much gone, because big ask for Tanner Boyd to come up, step into the 7, do that job, do it next to CHT is not a good compliment for Tanner Boyd. Meanwhile, you know, the ongoing issues with outside back injuries where we just really didn't have a lot of strike and stuff. So the season was over at that point. So when you're looking back on 2025, the question that didn't get answered was it going to come good, right? Was it going to come good and we were going to surge into the semis if we had Lukey Met and Barney there? And depending on whether you believe it was or wasn't, probably affects your optimism coming into 2026, you know, with the big red flag that we're not going to have Lukey Met for a couple of months. So I don't know, that's my sort of sense of the year. Any sort of thoughts on that?
Yeah, for me, couldn't have summed it up any better. Interesting point you make about the attack being a bit off. I hadn't sort of thought about that too much during the year, but just looking at the season summaries now, we only scored one more try than we did the year before across the regular season, and despite winning 5 more games. So that sort of sums it up. Obviously, we're much better defensive teams, conceded 14 less than we did in 2024. But yeah, we're still a fairly limited team with the ball. Obviously, you know, that fell away as well when Metcalf got injured, and that run home, which was a very soft run. When he played a couple of teams that ended up making the 8. Our wins during that post Metcalf injury were against Tigers, Knights, Dragons, Titans, who missed the finals. And we even lost to 4 teams that missed the finals: Titans, Dolphins, and then Eels and Sea Eagles in the last 2 rounds. Gritty finals loss, I thought, and unlucky finals loss to the Panthers. It was that sort of couple of moments in the second half, like we could have easily won that game with our backs against the wall. But yeah, it just did feel like we were treading water once Metcalf went down and Barnett's injury sort of caught up on us.
And I'm the same. The closer with the attack last year, it seemed to be the closer we got to an opposition's line, the more rudderless we seemed to be. It was the further you're out, it's a less off the cuff sort of play usually. But once we were then into an attacking pattern, it seemed to get a little bit lost. And we were, the good thing about it, I think we were a good team, and we are a good team. We could go with good teams and we could hold good teams. But the difference between us and the good teams is they had those one or two players that could take the game away from the opposition. And I think that's where we're struggling. I hopefully maybe Leka with a bit more experience and maybe Cam Pereira on the ring, just have those little players, magic players that can sort of take it. We can sit with and defend. We're a great defensive team, and we can sit with. It's just that next tier, missing that next tier of talent that can just take it away from someone in the blink of an eye. That's my opinion. But yeah, it wasn't too much of a different year to the previous year. It's just that those 50-50 results from the previous year.
We won the close games
last year. Yeah.
Won a shitload of close games, whereas we lost a ridiculous amount of close games the year before. And,
yeah, 100%.
But a 10-3 start, like that's historically great and good by any measure. Like if you're 10-3, any club's happy with that. And there was some dicey wins in amongst that too, but they were good enough to win those, and not quite good enough to win them during the back end of the year. But yeah, overall, I think a massive overachievement. I don't think any of us had them making the finals. Sort of scraping in at 8th was best case, and
I didn't.
We cruised into 6th, so and would have probably finished top 4, even with just Metcalf was still there. So yeah, we're still in the mix with 4 with a round or 2 to go, I think. So
yeah, we were. That's right. But yeah, we just started really tripping up, didn't we? Come the end of season.
Yeah. The other thing on that was if you look at the stats, blokes like the eye test and so on, I'm pretty sure it's actually not. So our attack in the strike zone was not good. We talked about that. I actually don't think our defense is better than other teams. It's just that we give other teams less good ball. So we don't let other teams get to our strike zone as often, so that we're probably average, if you like, in defending our own line. But we just don't let teams get there very often. So it's about that transition, our kick chase, our it's that we're really good at the moment. When other teams get down there, they can score on us, but we don't leak. We're not leaky, but we're not the best in the comp. We just don't let teams get there because we control that transition set.
Yeah,
part of the set. Yeah,
it's a nice point.
So question for you boys though: if Metcalf doesn't go down though, are we in contention last year?
I don't think in contention, because I don't think we probably had another gear to go to. Like we saw, obviously Brisbane exploded on the back of Reece Walsh and a very high quality team, and some other strike players, Haas and Staggs and the like, and a really experienced halfback and Reynolds and co. I think we sort of hit our ceiling. I don't know if that would have held up in September, but I think we could have got to top 4 and won a couple of games maybe, or won a game to get to a prelim. Maybe an outside chance of a grand final, but we were definitely it felt like 23 where we were a couple of yards behind the Panthers and the Broncos and even the Storm. So yeah, I don't think maybe a grand final with a run of luck, but I don't think we would have won the comp.
No, I think you're right. If the season had been 2 weeks longer, we probably would have missed the finals. We were really
there was a stage there where we were looking. There's only other teams falling over that kind of we sort of fell into the finals. But even though
that was it, and that's it. Long season, battling away. Metcalf, you would have been a whole lot more confident of at least winning one more game in the semis with Metcalf there. But I think that those top teams are definitely a next step.
I reckon what you said there, Will, about gears is a good way to think about it. I've just been down the coast, mucking around doing a bit of fishing. We're like a tinny with a 40 horsepower engine off the back of it, and the coach has got it running right on the edge of that 40 horsepower.
Just screaming.
He's got it balanced and planed, and he's getting every drop of juice out of that motor from round 1 to round 27. But there's teams running out there with 120 horsepower engines, you know what I mean? And the coach
idling next to them.
Well, the coach hasn't quite worked out how to balance a boat and get it all, lined up to get the most out of that engine. But, if the engine goes, they're just going to blow past you. You know, I think that's the truth of the squad last year a little bit compared to your Brisbane's and so on.
Yeah,
and it was similar to
I do just also want to say that about halfway through the year, I remember coming on here saying when Brisbane get going, they're the best team in the comp by far, which not a lot of people were saying back then. And we saw that, didn't we, in the GF? Because I mean, I can't. That GF was. I was in Fiji for the GF with a group of mates and our families, and so we're sitting on these lawn chairs. They had a big screen up in the resort we were staying at, and all the hundreds of locals and Aussies and Kiwi tourists there watching it. And that was one of the most remarkable games I've ever watched. I haven't enjoyed a neutral game of footy like that in so long. It was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think, I was just sitting there thinking about the finals again, and as you get to this sort of age, having watched the game for 30 plus years and watched it very closely, the seasons blend into one another, but I'll never forget what the Broncos and in particular Reece Walsh did last September is insane. Like maybe once in a generation or more, what Walsh did in particular, it was absolutely crazy on those sort of stages from those sort of game positions, and to produce the sort of plays he did, it was absolutely insane.
It was Jared Hayne leading, to me, the last play I've seen as Jared Hayne, except this one won a comp, and again, I remember us saying on here, when I saw Reece Walsh debut for us, it's the best talent I've seen since Andrew Johns. I mean, he's in that level now, isn't he? Like if he one more year like that and he's immortal. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I went looking to see if there was any odds out the other day to put some money on him to get Daly M this season.
Well, I still think Daly M is you can't bet on it still because of the Coach of the Year betting scandal several years ago. So there's still a
no shit,
a ban on Daly M. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but
hit me with some history. What's the Coach of the Year scandal?
I think it was maybe there was a plunge on Bellamy getting Coach of the Year. Several years ago, and and there was rumors of a leak or something, so they've canned all Daly M betting since then, ruined it for everyone. But I'd love to see a market for that. I'd say Walsh should be out there in front.
Should we just start
our team instead of our
taking some money on it if you want? I could be a bookie. Can anyone be a bookie? Yeah, I'll start taking.
Can we start a market on the Kings Container Crew players? Player of the week and year thing?
Oh no, there'd be leaks everywhere.
Every time I got drunk, I'd be
big bribery.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna be 10 grand in the hole here. You're gonna have to give. You're gonna have to give Ed Cossey 10.
Will puts a big bet on some real rogue, and his weekly ratings are suspiciously lopsided.
Point shaving. Well, instead of talking about our former players like Reece Walsh, maybe let's talk about our current squad. I thought a good way to kick off the year and I guess preview the season ahead. An early preview is maybe run through our squad position wise and how we see it lining up, and obviously a lot of debate over quite a few positions. So everyone's gagging to hear, I'm sure in particular, what Fonz has had to say. I've done a bit of previewing on the site, and there's some poll results from our readers, which are quite interesting. But I guess we'll just run through and sort of preview the season that way. Just a piece of news that we forgot the other day, which I thought was quite notable: the Christchurch game. Takara Stadium, One New Zealand Stadium, selling out in 5 days. How good's that? The historic encounter against the Cowboys in June, but man, that's a crazy result. 5 days, 5 months out from the game. Massive appetite for it. Appetite for the Warriors all over New Zealand, and just fantastic to see what an occasion it's going to be, Brad.
Secured ourselves some tickets, didn't we? You're heading to the media box, of course, but I'll be out.
Hopefully, I haven't sorted that out yet.
Haven't you? Right, but I'll be there with the fam Damley and the crew. It should be good. Indoors.
Get him a team, Volandis. Volandis, get Christchurch.
It's time. There's so much. And looks like there's whispers again, doesn't there? So be good.
Yes, aiming for the 20th team. We'll have some sort of TWL event during the day. It's so handy now, right in the city, the stadium, to be able to just pull up a pew
When you
somewhere.
say event,
wander down.
When you say event, it will be
Catch
just
up.
sitting in the corner of a bar and people will slope over to us if they want to say, like, when there's not going to be
pretty
bouncy
much, yeah.
castles and
No,
it's not an event. It's not an event per
No,
se,
no.
but it's okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. I was just trying to
Oh,
work out
come
what
on.
I signed myself up for.
yeah. But no, congratulations.
I'm on a spinning
to,
wheel
I
and
guess,
someone's chucking
everyone.
knives at me. whoa!
I was thinking more
Thought it was
more that sort of kerplunk kind of thing where you're sitting up on the seat and people
you dunk the
fall
teacher.
into a pool. Yeah.
I wonder if you can hire one of them.
But no, look forward to that one. Plenty more footy to come before that though. I think it's about the halfway mark of the season. And okay, starting off, boys. Fullback, the contentious fullback. It seems to be a 2-horse race with one horse still way out in front. The big strapping thoroughbred Chance Nickel Clodstad, or the zippy little filly tamed to a picky. Interested, just kick off with the poll results, and I'm sure we're going to end up seeing Chance as your first choice, especially with Tane having a bit of a mischief on the farm and hurting his leg, sort of touch and go for round one anyway, or trials at least. But the poll results from my fullback preview article on Substack, Tane to a picky, 84% preferred fullback, which is quite resounding. Chance 13%. No one for Roger, and other 3%. Not quite sure who that was about. Maybe Geronimo Doyle getting a debut.
Kurt Capewell, I reckon.
Yeah, play anywhere, that bloke. But yeah, I guess take it away, Fonz. We talked about this ad nauseum about the qualities Chance bring, the quality that Tane brings, very contrasting, and there's neither of them have each other's strengths, and I guess they're quite lacking in each other's strengths. Is why this is such a continuous talking point.
Well, I mean, we saw in the internationals last year, back into last year. So Reece Walsh, basically, Reece did what he did for Brisbane and then for Australia. We saw Keanu Kinney, right, come into fullback for the Kiwis, and demonstrate how that faster, more creative fullback is probably what you want in the modern game, right? I think that is what you want. If you're starting from scratch, you want that, right? Is Tane that guy? That's the question, right? So I don't think Tane's that guy. I don't think he's a Keanu Kinney. I don't think he's a Reece Walsh. I just don't think he is. I don't think he's demonstrated because the trade-off is the meters, the defensive, size and awareness and all of that versus the agility, the creativity, the link play and so on, right? So if you're going to be the smaller body, making less yardage, defensively a bit more challenged, tackling a big bloke, you've got to show me a lot on the upside, on the creativity, on the link play. I just haven't seen it from Tane. I've seen him score some one-out tries where he gets a ball on the wing, steps back inside 3 times and jags a try, right? Which, is good. But I haven't seen him at first grade level. I haven't seen him show that he can bring the upside that I would need to take Chance out of fullback and give up the meters, the yardage, the defensive control. So I'm still going with Chance. If you can find, if Keanu Kinney's in the club, this is not a conversation, right? This is not a conversation. It's not about style. It's not me saying I want a Chance style player. It's just saying I don't think Tane is that player that can do that job at the level where he can compensate for what you're giving up. That's where I'm at the minute.
What do you got, Brad? Where are you still sitting on?
I don't think Tane's a Keanu Kinney. He's not in the same conversation as Keanu Kinney, or even is it KO Week? Is it the other one? What's the other one? KO Week?
He's somewhere in between weeks.
Yeah. So I don't think Tane. The frustrating thing with Tane with me, everything's a half chance that he's created. He hasn't actually
Yes.
scythed through it. Everything
on.
just gets caught by an ankle all the time. Is he not quite quick enough? I don't know. I don't think Chance has done anything wrong. And there's no, like you said, if it was Keanu Kinney there, chuck him in. But I do like Tane sniffing around, and I do like the fact that there might be a little bit more off the cuff, and he, like you say, jags aren't out wide, but it's not a massive difference. It's not going to change the team massively having him in there, I don't think. I'm probably Chance is what they'll go with at the moment. I think we still need to find the next fullback.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think and I think the fan base says that with everyone wanting Tane. I think the fans want to change there because I've seen what Chance can deliver and they've seen his limitations. But I don't know if Tane's that answer at the moment.
Yeah, he's probably just not quite there. Good point, Brad. Everything, it seems to be a half chance. I think he could be better with a decent run at it, but I don't think he's going to get that run unless Chance was to break down long term and really give Tane a proper crack to settle in. I think he's done a great job, Tane, as you know, he's just filled in here and there, and he had like a run of 4 or 5 games second half of the season with Chance going to centre for a bit, but he has never had a chance to settle in first grade. And I rate him as a bit of a ball playing fullback. I think he's got good playmaking instincts and made a difference in that department when he did get that opportunity. The frustration in a team that has struggling to put points on the board. And Chance I think his limitations have been magnified by Sean Johnson leaving. He had 13 tries and 13 try assists across the 2023-24 seasons. So it's obviously when with SJ there, and then 2 tries, 4 try assists, and I've reviewed them, pretty pedestrian try assists, like catch and pass. And that's not necessarily his fault. It's also the halves. No one's anywhere near as slick as Sean is at creating that space for Chance. But that's just the reality of where we're at. And I guess we just have to make the best of what we've got. I'm sure that Chance is going to be the fullback. My other question for you guys is if Chance was to, touch wood, suffer a long-term injury, would Tane be that fullback, or would they use that opportunity with, a reasonable amount of outside back depth or options to put Roger back there?
The way Roger played for Samoa, I did enjoy that. Because Tane's not a young man either, is he? He's not a young up and comer.
25, I think.
Oh, I thought he was at 27. Sorry. Oh, yeah.
I might
would
be
you go
wrong there. 26 and a half. Yeah.
I think they would go with Tane, and I think that's the handshake with Tane, which is, mate, like you're not starting, but your first drop. It's the handshake. Like otherwise, he's not staying around to be third drop. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be first drop. So I think that's where it's at. The interesting one though, right? So Rocco Berry, in a shock to us all, has had an injury and another surgery.
Pop the shoulder again.
Yeah, pop the shoulder again. So he's gone till what, round 7, I think it is, or
I don't even know if they've got
TBA.
Yeah, I think long term.
So if Berry's out, so you got Pompey, one centre, as I saw you wrote in your article, Will, on the Substack about the centre outside back positions, and then it's Ali Leotawa, presumably, but there's question marks over him big time, right? So if the club has decided that, I'm not saying this is, I don't know this, but if the club looked at it and said, you know what, Berry's cooked because it's TBA, and who knows if he's coming back, and he's missing preseason anyway, so we're a centre short, right? I can see a world where the club, if that's right, then where the club goes, okay, you know what, let's move Chance to the centres because we can't trust Leotawa. There's only Pompey and there's no depth in that position. So let's move Chance, Tane, you're there. That would be easier if Tane was fit himself to do a preseason at fullback, and he's not. That's annoying. But I could see that. I could see that well, where just because we're so dire at centre with the injuries and the talent we've got, that we need a centre. I could see that. That's the only way I could see Tane ending up at fullback.
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely an option. And we saw, I guess we'll just segue into the centres and winger chat. We saw Capewell start half a dozen games on top of the games he shifted to centre mid-season. We saw Leka Halasema start at centre for the first time in the NRL in a finals game because Rocco got injured in the in the final round.
Bad injury.
Yeah, so it's a problem spot. Ali, similarly, started the season really well. We were calling him our, number one centre, and it was up to Berry and Pompey to fight over the other spot, and then bit of form and then injuries again. He barely played after round 8 or so, Ali. So the noise around him's pretty quiet, and I almost forgot about him when I started doing this article. So where do you go? And then you've got Lofi Khan-Pereira coming into the club, 53 tries in 54 games. Is there a chance, Fonz, with that, three-man logjam on the wing with Dallin, Roger, our player of the year? Dallin, obviously, a couple of great seasons and then fell away big time last year. And then Khan-Pereira is just electric, maybe the fastest player to ever don a Warriors jersey when he gets it on. Is there a world where they try the Roger at centre again experiment, which didn't quite go to plan in 2024?
Look, so firstly, I don't see it as a three-way shootout on the wing. Lofi is not. He's not in the conversation. It's Dal and Rog in my mind. I think the Lofi thing is, it's kind of like that young fellow who...
Is that your preference, or is that what you think will happen?
Mate, we're talking about a bloke who couldn't get a start at the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Right. Under Des Hasler.
Dallin was
the
man coming into the season last year.
We're talking about a bloke who dead set couldn't find a spot in the NRL. He was sitting out there with no club for a long time until we went and got him, as far as I can tell. Right. So,
yeah, fair argument.
There's just a bit of, that young bloke who he has a boring girlfriend, so then he goes and gets a crazy girlfriend. Right. So at the moment, we've had these kind of slow OBs, and now there's a fast one that's like, all right, but okay. So what's he like under the high ball? What's he like defensively? Does he, know how to play in terms of shapes? Is he going to do his yardage? I haven't followed him because I didn't know we're going to sign him, and therefore I'm not, I'm not saying I've studied his game carefully, but I'm starting from the position that he couldn't crack it at the Gold Coast, and there wasn't a sweat of other Australian-based clubs trying to sign him, right? So I want to see what the hell this guy's going to do in Cup before I'm even thinking about playing in first grade. That's where I'm at. So the answer to your question is no for me, for that reason.
So I think, he's going to destroy everyone in New South Wales Cup. He's got 33 tries in 24 games at Queensland Cup level. Along with his try game, which is, historically elite in the history of the Premiership after 50-odd games. He's obviously got some shortcomings with defence. I'd love to know the situation behind him getting left out by Des Hasler for half of last year, essentially. I mean, they do have some decent outside backs there. Phil Sami, Jojo Fafita, a few others. I couldn't believe that he got left out. But obviously a bit more to it. I'm sure the Warriors did their due diligence in signing him, and I don't think he would have come here if he didn't think he could play first grade. But I guess the other part of that, besides being a big Khan-Pereira fan for me, is that Dallin was awful last year, I thought. 7 tries, 16 games. His yardage was down around 100 metres when we're used to him being like 150 to 200 ball carrying player. I know that, and we got some good education from likes of yourself and Waz up about whose fault it is when a winger comes in, but some of the time he was totally blowing it. And I think he's again a victim of of SJ leaving, and I just wanted to wind it back to David Fusatoa. When SJ left the first time, try a game in 2018 for Fuss to lead the comp. After SJ left, 6 tries in 28 games, and his career fell apart. Dallin, 43 tries in 51 games playing alongside SJ. When he's played for the Warriors without SJ, 16 tries in 34 games, so we're under 50%. So quite striking. He's a great finisher, but is he that valuable if you're not getting those opportunities, I guess, created for you? Whereas Khan Pereira is the kind of guy that can, lead the competition in a team coming 14th, which he did in 2024, scoring better than a try a game. And I think that's the kind of player I'd love to have at the Warriors that can pull it out of thin air, like Brad was sort of talking about earlier. So much speed and doesn't, necessarily need that gap created for him necessarily. But again, neither's a slam dunk selection, which makes it hard. And you got Roger, who was absolutely superb, reborn on the wing last year, player of the year for the club. So, yeah, tricky one.
It is a tricky one.
Who's your preference, Brad?
Round one will be Dallin and Rog.
Yeah, he's got the runs on the board and the leadership.
Exactly.
And
it won't be long till someone goes down, and they'll get to have a look at what Khan can do up in the top grade. And it may be tough if he goes all right. It may be tough Roger will come straight back if it is. But if Dallin goes down injured, it might be tough for him to get a spot back if Khan does go all right. But you're right. See him carve up in New South Wales Cup. See how he goes. And there's Hazen Mallows too. They keep talking a lot about him around the club. He's a big lad. Geez, I heard him speak for the first time. He's a well-spoken young man. I'm interested to see how he rolls. So, and then, who's the other one?
Good position to be in depth-wise. Last year when Dallin was out for the first 9 rounds, I think it was, we had Kane, a total novice on the wing, who did a good job, but that's the position we're in, picking Kane. And then Kossi was your sort of next option. So, to have those 3, assuming Roger's not going to centre. You don't see that happening, Fonz, a Rog back to centre.
They can't do that to them again, can they? That would be horrible to do that. Rog had tough time at centre, and then he had fun on the wing. But
it was so good. I think it's just where, it's just how you fill that gap at centre. If Ali's not coming to the season fit, who's your centre? And Chance is presumably your fullback, then you are just about down to Capewell. You really are.
So we have no reason to think Ali's. We have no reason to think Ali's unfit at this point, do we? It's just
but it's
just,
It's just been out of the conversation, hasn't he?
Just on the polls on that article, who do you want as your Warriors other centre? Assuming Pompey's a certainty. Chan's actually topped that poll with 41%. That's probably same people voting for
to shift them out of fullback, evict them out of the back.
Want to keep them in the team. And as I talk about Chans, I'd just about rather Chans at fullback if they weren't going to pick him at centre. That's the caveat. I'd want Chans at centre because he is that good of a player. Ali 37% in that one.
The fans struggle with it as well. They don't. They don't want to dirtbag or boot Chans out of the team. They want to find a position. That's why I reckon everyone wants to try and shoehorn him into centre because they feel bad.
I think he's a good centre though. He is a good centre.
I think he's a great centre.
Not
great centre, but
just very rock solid. Great defensive. He's played more tests at centre than he has at fullback for New Zealand, and scored tries in both games for the Kiwis when he played there last year. But
part of all the
very interesting for round one.
Part of both of those positional conversations, it's come down to a lot of players done well under Sean Johnson. So now we probably lead into the halves. A lot of the problem is what's happening in the halves, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously the picture is Luke Metcalf round 7 to 10 return. And it's just whether they go with Chanel and Tanner Boyd, who, steered the ship without them, without Metcalf towards the back end of the year. I thought Tanner went all right for the position he was put in, and I thought the team was sort of running out of gas a bit, as well as losing their sort of strike number 7. So it was a tough gig to come into. I thought he played okay, but yeah, showed his limitations. Best halfback in New South Wales Cup, bottom 3 halfback in the NRL, unfortunately.
I tend to agree with what Fonz said before. I don't think his best dance partner is Chanel, though.
No,
the two of them as a pairing, I don't think. Yeah, if you got Tanner, I think the partner's got to be someone different than Chanel. I don't know why.
The reason Lukey, Matt, and Chanel work well is because Chanel's somewhere between a 6 and a 7. You know what I mean? He's got a bit of organising about him. He's got a kicking game. He's got he's good defensively as well, sort of separately. And Lukey Matt, to be honest, he's almost more a 6 than a 7. So between the two of them, that's a good compliment. Tanner Boyd is an out and out 7. There's nothing 6 about him. There's he takes a line on square and all that, but he's not quick. He's he's not particularly creative and dynamic. Great kicking game, lots of good things. Don't get me wrong, lots of good things. I reckon Tanner Boyd 7, Lukey Metcalf 6. It's an interesting little combo, right? That's an interesting little combo. But him and Chanel, there's just not a lot of threat coming out of your halves, a run threat, let's call it that. There's not a lot of run threat coming out of your halves because he came in halfway through the year, and it'll probably be the same a bit now, maybe. Well, he's got an off season, but the structure might not be there either. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, so some people will say let's put Tamari at 6, but I think that's a mistake too, because if you want Chanel to be your 6 for the year, you got to start him there. You can't just sort of pick him when Metcalf comes back. So I think it's that. I think it's Chanel and Tanner Boyd, and it's going to be about, if that's 8 weeks, say, try and jag 4 wins.
Yeah,
like you said, coaches
like
ease into a season, don't they? They start slow, get defence and all that right. So, mate, hopefully that works in with Metcalf coming as we're starting to ramp up our attack.
It's a tough spot to be in, though, for Metcalf, particularly if we, end up 5-2 before he comes back, and they're like, okay, Metcalf's back. You haven't played for 9 months, and you're coming off your 4th major leg injury in 4 years, and you've only started 15 games at halfback in the NRL. Okay, can you save our season, please?
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because back to where we started looking at last year, the idea was that Metcalf was growing into the role and the team was growing it around him, so that the hope was we might back end the year. Yeah. But now we've got a bloke who did half a year at 7, didn't actually manage to get the structure around him right, then has spent 9 months on his back and doing straight line runs, right, and is then going to come in round 8 or thereabouts. I don't think there's enough time for him to back end this year. So, I mean, that is the single biggest problem we've got for the year, because there's not another half that can do it, but I just don't know that he can do it coming in at round 8 cold.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Just on Chanel, I actually thought he was in our top 3 or 4 players last year, but Brad, you were a little bit kind of half-hearted about him, but I thought he went really well. 8 tries, double his best career tally, 18 try assists, which is really solid for a 5'8", 12th in the NRL. I thought he did make stuff happen. Particularly, I thought he was the most effective of all the Warriors halves inside the 20. When things weren't, when the structure was just coming up with nothing, he would try something different, whether it was a funky little kick and chase or something. He's just a footballer that makes things happen. But I still think he's our best option for 6, regardless of who the 7 is. A couple of smokies in the mix. Jai Lanane, who got a top 30 contract, hasn't even played New South Wales Cup yet, coming off back-to-back ACL injuries.
It's crazy
to hear Andrew Webster speak the other day.
What does he get a top 30
reckon
contract?
He's ahead of Luke Hansen, ahead of Jet Cleary.
Yeah.
Hasn't played Cup yet, so they're very high on him. Tried to sign him 3 years ago, had 2 ACLs since. That's obviously tough. They reckon he's quicker than Luke Metcalf.
Yeah. I got no problem with him, but he's got to play 10 games of Cup before anyone's even talking about it. Like, that's not.
But you know, there is a world where he does come into the conversation, an injury or two, or some shocking form, or he's just blitzing in Cup, and clearly a gun. Like he's 20s, you know, we'll see what happens. Jet Cleary, Webster again yesterday. You know, they're super patient with him. It's so hard to decipher, you know, whether it's the name. I know that it's the name that I'm in his genes that I'm all barred up about, rather than what we've seen. Like he's been good, but he hasn't been screaming first grade yet. You know, on a development contract, he's 20 as well. I thought he, you know, took his opportunities quite well. And New South Wales Cup, just on Jet Cleary. I forgot about this the other day. Very loyal listener, Gareth, just had a wee boy the other day with his partner, named Jet with 2 T's. I don't know if he's trying to manifest his son being great, or trying to manifest Jet Cleary being the next great Warriors halfback. But I love the commitment, Gareth, and pretty zippy name. So congratulations out there, Gareth and family.
Good on you, mate.
Young Jet, fired up for the season ahead. But you know, Webster saying he could see Jet Cleary playing first grade this year, but again, they're in absolutely no rush, and they do have an insane amount of depth, whether it's top quality depth. You know, the jury's out, but good position to be in options wise.
My view, I think Jet Cleary will play first grade in 2027. That's my sense.
27?
Yeah. I think he will play first grade, and he'll play it in 2027. I don't think he'll play it this year, but that's just my sense of. I watched him in Cup, and you know, he got elevated in Cup last year because of injuries as well.
Didn't force his way in.
Well, yeah, exactly, and I just think that's the right glide path for him. But you know, could be wrong.
I actually think Luke Hansen wouldn't let anyone down. You know, he's obviously not going to be an elite NRL half or even a regular one, but 18 try assists in 19 games for the Cup team last year. 7 tries. I think he's a good little player. And then the other one coming through, Harry Inch, which everyone is very excited about, but hasn't played a game of league in his life.
Yeah.
They're obviously very high on him, and he trained with the top squad over the summer, but he'll be straight into flag, still 19, yet to play a game of league. But yeah, a lot of interest around him and how he develops as a leaguey.
I reckon he's 50-50 to ever make New South Wales Cup, that bloke.
Ever. Yeah, that's fair. He's never played the game before, so yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I can take that bet. How much do you want on it? If we're going to start this bookie thing, might as well just get it underway now.
Well, which 50? Which 50 are you though?
That he does.
All right. Yeah, we'll go 6 pack on it.
Right, done. Sick. Just cheap shit though, eh?
Oh,
no, we're not talking crafties.
I'll send you crap. I'll send you crap Aussie beer. You send me crap Kiwi beer. How's that? We'll do it that way.
Sweet. No,
just before we round out the hards, I just want to drop in a few of these stats that I've uncovered, boys. Tanner Boyd, top 4, bottom 4, whichever way you look at it, in the NRL for missed tackles per game of those who played more than 5 games. So not ideal for old Tanner, but yeah, I mean, maybe those stats, as Andrew Webster's told us before, can be a little bit exaggerated or not tell the full picture, as Kurt Capewell would probably love to tell you after topping the NRL for missed tackles.
I agree with that. And
also, a good one.
Also, a bloke coming in halfway through a year cold, he's going to have more problems. So yeah, I don't think his D was that bad. Tanner Boyd. I don't think
probably no worse than Metcalf, really.
It attracted a lot of traffic.
Exactly a turnstile. I like this one. So obviously, Stacey Jones and Sean Johnson have dominated Warriors history in terms of our halves, and we haven't had long-term combinations. Chanel Harris-Tavita has now started more first-grade games in the halves for the Warriors than anyone that's not one of the two SJs, 75 games, which is quite amazing, really. It doesn't really feel like Chanel's, like last year was his first full season, really, as a starting Warriors half. And last year, Chanel and Metcalf, I think I might have flagged this during the year, but their run of 15 straight games as a combination was the Warriors' longest by a halves duo since 2016. So, and we're not going to get that, or maybe we will if Metcalf comes back, stays fit, and so does his partner. But it's hard when you're,
What's wrong with his wife?
Chopping and changing.
Oh, halves partner.
I mean, that just tells you about the club, mate. Like to be honest, we were just not, we just weren't serious, in past years, really. This regime with Robbo, Webby, Cappy, McFadden, this is the first time we've been a serious club, let's be honest.
Moving on, and time is marching on, boys, but go to this. I guess we'll look at middles or props and lock as one sort of bunch. Haven't reviewed these on the Substack yet, but obviously Mitch Barnett and James Fisher-Harris, our co-captains. Mitch Barnett back in round 2 will be our starting props. You'd imagine Dally and Lock of the Year, Aaron Clark, an absolute block, so to speak, for the number 13.
Mm-hmm.
So how many? Another couple of spots on the bench for our middles. Who gets them?
Well, Vaimalga's clearly getting one of them, right? I don't think anyone's going to argue that. Yeah, so you've got one left. So it comes down to what are you going to do with Nikora here? I think, is Nikora moving to the middle, becoming part of middle rotation? What are you doing with Ford? It quickly, because that last year was Ford, really. So it quickly turns into what's your edge back row as well, because they start linking up. So maybe let's do the starting 13 and see who's left for the bench, if you know what I mean. Like, So who's your starting 11, 12?
Well, I mean the most regular combination in 2025 was the sister with Capewell and Nucore. They are combined chewing up about $1.5 million in the salary cap, according to the rich list. I think 2nd and 5th top paid players in the club. Performance wise, maybe Capewell's giving you a return on investment. Nucore is absolutely not, and I honestly think he's still in the 17, let alone the starting lineup on reputation and pay packet, because I thought he was a little bit, I thought he was disappointing from what I expected of him. Maybe what we got a taste of in 2023. The last 2 years have been pretty disappointing. Got so many young guys: Halasima, Laban, Iramea, Toiava. I love all three. They're not all going to get into the 17, particularly if you've still got Nucore taking up an edge spot or even a middle spot. And then there's Morgan Gannon into the mix. I think he's probably a way off, injury or two away, but he's a middle edge combo as well, which Iramea Toiava is. I mean, I'd love to see Lecker step up to that. He's had a great year as mostly a bench player. I thought he was fantastic when he played some 80-minute games, Lecker, and went really well. Maybe blunt some of his explosiveness, but I think it's time for him to step up as a Ola Kawatu, Ali Katoa type that is just your dominant, explosive but hardworking starting second rower.
So you're Capewell Lecker. You're Capewell Lecker. That's your.
That's my
That's my preference. Are both Capewell and Nucore on their last year of contract?
Yeah, I believe they are. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm with you. Capewell Lecker is my 11, 12 as well. Okay. So that means you could carry a Nucore on the bench as a 17 hybrid middle edge, right? So if Lecker's gassed or struggling, you can chuck him on. You can do 30 minutes on an edge, or you could get him in front row rotation or a bit of both. That gives you that option. Or you could just out and out say it's him and Vimalga doing middle rotation. I'm not with you, Will. I don't trust the bloke. I just don't trust him. I don't. Yeah. I just haven't seen him quite nail the job 2 weeks in a row anywhere in 2 years. Is just what it comes down to. So I'm totally open to a conversation that says he's not in the 17. I'm totally open to that. But
it wouldn't upset me if he wasn't there. And it doesn't really, I don't mind if he is, but at the same time, it wouldn't upset me if he wasn't in the 17 and some of these other young Chargers had that position. Yeah. Sorry, Fonz.
Well, who's your second bench prop then if it's not him?
Is it Ford?
Tannerstow Smith.
Ford. Tannerstow Smith he's dead.
Well, yeah, actually Ford is ahead of Tannerstow Smith in the pecking order. Yeah. And he offers that edge coverage too. And then
you're right. Nikore do it. How many are you carrying? So what are you carrying on the bench? You're going to have a utility sort of hooker.
You got
two front row, 2 props, and then a second row cover.
You probably got to have someone who can cover second row because you know that Halasima's growing into it. And then you've got another one, which has got to be a hooker OB type cover. But okay, so if someone held a burning torch to Nikore's feet and said, get going, dude, I'd have him in the middle over Ford. I think he's got more potential.
I think it's close though as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because it's only a 30-minute slot. Like, if it's Barney and Fish till 50, you're just asking someone to do 15 minutes each side of half time. Right? So I don't need an 80-minute motor, someone who's going to make 60 tackles like Ford,
dig deep,
to do that 30-minute slot. Yeah. So if that's the case, I'm heating up the cattle prod and going to Nikore, mate. I need 30 minutes of proper footy out of you. And I reckon that's probably the go. If we're not seeing that in preseason, then it's Ford. I personally don't think Tannerstow Smith's there yet. I just don't think he's who I would pick. And Iramoto ever similar. I think he's probably come up a bit too early last year. Another year of doing good to back end of this year maybe comes through to first grade through injury. Laban's a tricky one because Laban's been blooded, and I think we all saw enough there that it's hard to leave him out of a 17. I think. I think he's somewhere thereabouts.
I think he's more a Capewell type cover in that, isn't he? Laban.
I always thought
it's more horses for courses who you're swapping out for in the team. It's not because he's good, he's on the bench. It's what do you need cover for him being in the team.
And you've always got like Capewell.
He looks reliable. He's
without outside back injuries in our game. Like we seem to lose our outside back so often that Capewell seems to shift out every 2 or 3 games max. So you do, obviously have to have that sort of cover. But there's a great position to be in. I mean, I think Laban's fantastic. Iramoto is a real personal favourite of mine. Kalis Fatialofa is knocking on the door too. Not yet to play NRL, but 14 tries for the Cup team last year, mostly coming off the bench. So, I mean, man, we're so stacked for that for that spot, and position to be in when you're talking about leaving guys like South Smith, Nikore, Ford out of the 17 altogether. Suddenly we've got an incredibly deep pack, which is, but also very high quality at starting 6.
So if we go Vimalga, either Nikore or Ford, depending on what you want to do with that, and then we got 2 more spots. So I know you're a Healy fan, Brad. So you probably want to get him onto the bench for hooker rotation, right?
Correct. Yeah, I would love him, even if he can go onto lock, maybe, as well as like if needed, that hooker locking sort of cover.
So you go Kate Wells, your outside back cover. You got Healy, and then you can carry. Who was your other prop? Was it Nikore or was it Ford or?
Yeah, well, that's. I think you're right in the fact that it's only a 30-minute stint, so you don't need Ford heating slowly, winding his way through 80 minutes. So maybe Nikore probably is that shout.
So you could go.
I'd go-
It doesn't worry
just
me either way.
spoil it.
I don't care.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'd go forward just on the strength of last year's performances and the fact that, I don't even necessarily trust New Corday to give you a great 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
let alone
Well,
55.
Ford did the work last year. That no doubt about it. So okay. So let's. I mean, so you could run if Kate Wells fit and playing, you could run a Vaimalga, Nukore, Ford, Healy bench, 4 forwards. If you get an outside back injury, Catewell slots out one and you sort it out that way. You got hooker cover. You don't have halves cover, but, in this game, can you really carry halves cover? And then you can sort of mix and match your back row forward interchange based on you got Ford and Ukora there. I mean, it's probably the safe option in a way, isn't it? Really?
I like it. I mean, I guess, we don't talk about hooker too much. Egan has the runs on the board and at his best as a top 3 hooker in the game potentially.
Yep.
Thought he fell away a bit during last year. Healy, I love what he brings when he comes on or when he has a chance to start, just makes things happen. He scored a few tries, bounces around, not as slick at dummy half as Egan, obviously, or have that same nous, but I'd love to have someone that can come on for 20 during a game and maybe change things up rather than, Martin is quite a solid but a pedestrian hooker, and I don't think Martin's, to be honest, a good enough half/fullback to have him the 14 purely because he's so incredibly versatile. I'd much rather roll the dice with Healy, and if there's an injury during the game, then that's them's the breaks. But I think pick your best players rather than your most versatile.
Like I probably, I think especially the first 2 months with no Lukey Matt, right? We're gonna be a boring team. So it's a good time to spend a couple. It's a good time to spend a couple. It's a good time to spend a couple of months learning how to. Because the striking thing too. Remember, I know partly because we had Fanua Blake, but remember how much good ball and good shape we used to run off Egan, right? We don't run anything off him anymore, off hooker anymore. It's all the model shifted completely to just Egan farms the ball to the halves, who
and that's partly Tohu Harris and Dylan Walker leaving as well. Aaron Clark is getting that side of his game going, but the number of passes per game is like a fraction of Harris and Walker.
Yeah. So if I'm Webby, I'm going, all right, I'm going to have my second string or a second string halves combination first 2 months. And anyway, I'm going to play quite a defensive game first 2 months of the season. I'm going to spend a lot of time working out how I can get people playing off Egan and, get Vo Mulga, Aaron Clark, as you mentioned. Even Barney was starting and Fish was starting to throw some balls.
Barney was happy.
And I'm going to really work on that middle third for 2 months, and I would then pick 4 forwards on the bench with Healy there, and just make that the emphasis for the first 2 months. I think that's probably how I would pick it. I think.
I'd hope so. I'd like to hope that is the case. Webby is very, very passive on his changes. I'm picking Martin will be there on the bench come round 1 still.
Yeah.
But she'll be interesting. Is that every position?
Yeah,
it is.
I think we're
coach,
done.
We're happy with the coach. We don't need to change anything.
I think we'll give him at least 4 or 5 rounds to prove himself.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, and I think I did have a couple of other things penciled in. We can easily push them to the next episode. That's a big shift for your first run-on game in 4 months, Fonz, and Brad, your second game.
Kids are starting to get unsettled at Fonz's as well.
Yeah, can you hear that coming through? Yeah.
Yeah. Like that bloke on the BBC. Thank you very much, boys. I think we'll shut her down, I think we're still January. I feel like the season's almost upon us. I feel like we're rolling because of all the Substack stuff, but we're still in January.
How many weeks till kickoff? 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
5 or 6, yeah.
What are we doing here, man? Summer. Yeah. Look at this. Go on, let's go. We'll go have a game of beach cricket.
All right, good stuff, boys.
Great effort, Fonz. Great to have you back, mate. Brad,
cheers, boys. Good to see you.
Effort. You too. King's Container Crew. Thanks, boys. Everyone jumping on the Substack already. Thank you again, particularly this Warriors lifers and anyone else who's keen. Get aboard with us. It's going to be a huge year. Until then, though, boys, look after yourselves and each other.
This is a Frank podcast.